larger guys can also sit up and be a little taller, and they can show no stress marks whatsoever. Knees in front, or however you want to set it up. Shape, each shelf unit, not even bent, and they will all be interconnected. This is the newer material. Much in the same way. There, this area you can use two like this, or you get a whole full layer goes over the shelves, or you can create three-way stairs and put stuff underneath it, just whatever you want to do. The inserts are modular, shelving. They have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like the shelves. So no stress marks whatsoever. Nice. Still fully on top. Shape. Bent at the different levels. Newer material. Much in the same way I did there. This guys can also sit up and be a little taller, and they can work over the smaller units in front, or however you want to set it up. Each shelf unit, and they will all be interconnectable. You can see like that, so you can kind of get an effect of the stairs. Like this, no stress whatsoever. Goes over the shelves, or you can create bend stairs. This is the newer material. Just whatever you want to do. Much in the same way. Inserts are modular. I did there. Shelving. This have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like the shelves. See, no damage at all. Not white. Hold the dice. Minis on top. At the different levels. There, this area is pretty brittle. You can use two like this, or you get a whole layer over the shelves, or you can create a three-way stair and put the inserts are modular, shelving. They have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like shelves whatsoever. Still fully dice shape, minis on top. Bent. This is the newer material. At the different levels. Much in the same way I did there. This area is usually pretty brittle. These larger guys can also sit up and or however you want to set it up. Each shelf unit, and they will all be interconnectable. You can see like that, so you can kind of get an effect of the stairs if you want. You can use no stress like this, or you get a whole full layer fully that goes over the shelves, not even bent. Or you can create this is the newer material stair and put stuff underneath. Much in the same way I did there. The inserts are modular. This area is shelving. Pretty brittle. They have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like the shelves. Shelves, or you can create a three-way stair and put stuff underneath it, just whatever you want to do. The inserts are modular, shelving. They have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like the shelves, still fully shaped. Much in the same way I did there. This area is pretty brittle. These larger guys can also sit up and be a little taller, and they can work over the smaller minis in front, or however you want to set it up. Each shelf unit, and they will all be interconnectable. You can see like that, so you can kind of get an effect of the stairs. So no stress marks whatsoever. You can use two like this, or you get a whole full layer. Much in the same way I did there. This area inserts are modular, shelving. They have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like the shelves, dice, minis on top, at the different levels. So no stress marks whatsoever. They can also sit up, still full of collar shape, and they can work over the small newer material. much in the same way, and they will all be interconnectable. This area is usually pretty like brittle, so you can kind of get an effect of the stairs if you want. Not white. You can use two like this, or you can have a full layer that goes over the shelf, or the inserts are modular shelving, no stress. You have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like the shelves, not even bent. This is the newer material, and he's on top, much in the same way I did there. This area is usually pretty brittle. See, no damage at all. Not white. Larger guys can also sit up and be a little taller, and they can lurk over the smaller minis in front, or however you want to set it up. Shelving, and they'll all be interconnectable. Like that. So no stress marks whatsoever. Still full use two like this, or you can have a full layer. This is the newer material over the shelf, or much in the same way. There, this area is usually pretty brittle. The inserts are modular shelving. They have dividers that you can stick inside to separate things like the shelves. Nice. Things on top. Units show no stress marks whatsoever. And then these larger guys can also sit up and be a little taller. And they can lurk over the smaller minis in front, much in the same way you want to set it up. Each right there, this area see like that. How's it going? I think you can see my camera. So I'm trying to, I'm testing out my stream remote control here. So always trying something, you know. This, you know, you got to try to figure out a way to get better at this. You know, it's like I'm not the most skilled at this recording stuff. Really, all this does is start and stop, and let me transition to my various pages. But it's something. Every little bit helps, right? Get some part of it going. Okay, so it is showing. Man, you know, every little bit helps. Where's my camera? I'm missing a camera on here. I didn't even see it was missing. Hold on, let me see if I can get this camera working here. There you go. Fixed. Sort of. This camera really washes things out. So I've got a number of issues going on with my setup here. My cameras are of varying value. So I apologize for anybody who comes along and looks at these and goes, ugh, some of these cameras of his are terrible. As I try to eliminate the washed out effect. So part of my problem is I have multiple things that I do. I do a board game over here, I do gaming over there, I do painting right here. And I'm trying to simplify so I don't have to move as much junk around, but at the same time, cameras still, they have to be repositioned for whatever you're doing. So in my case, I'm like all over the place. So setting everything up can be kind of a fun task. Now, I know some streamers who do multiple things. And I've talked to them or whatever, and gone to their websites, and they have setups for everything. So it's like, if I have my paint stream here, I'd have 2 cameras ready to go, plug it in, that's the one you're doing. And then if you're doing, you know, something over there, you already have cameras ready to go. They're set up, they're doing their thing. This camera actually is also my table camera for my table game when I'm doing that. So there's a lot of setup, but at least it's easy now, right? So it's like if I want to use this camera, I just scroll it over there and hang it over the table. And then I use the camera you're looking at. That becomes my low view, the card view that I show when I show off cards. Thing is, it's not great, right? Because I think you've seen it, and the cards I show probably don't even come in very clear. Probably pretty blurry, so I apologize about that. Because it doesn't focus well close up. But if it's too far away, you can't see anything. So it's always something. Always something. I mean, you know, the successful streamers have a studio set up, so they've got cameras everywhere. They would have cameras prepped, and they might even have a different room for like a table game. They go in a different room and have a different sound set up, or a different area of the room. Like I do have a different area, but I don't have enough cameras, so moving them and relocating them, and I had to buy extension cables, and I had all that stuff up. But prepping for just a simple, let's go stream for an hour. It's like, no, not going to stream for an hour because that takes me 20 minutes to get everything in place. So that didn't happen. So I finally ordered my new paint palette. Ordered, as in I don't have it yet. so yeah, we're still working on that. I gotta get a little. I'm gonna get a little bit more paint on Royce and on Adrian, and then that's it. Then I'm gonna go on to. You know what? I want to. Hey TDL, how you doing, man? I'm painting Royce. Oh, this is Adrian. Adrian and Royce a little bit, just a little bit, because then I have to work on some. I have to work on my demons, and because I'm starting to move into new areas in our D&D campaign that have minis that I haven't painted. So I've got a bunch of them. Like this last time we played, I had several demons that didn't have paint on them at all, like nothing. And then we're going to be going into another area where so I'm not going to worry about those demons. They're the minor stuff. It's like small encounters, things like that. And I gotta, hold on, I'm gonna set my zoom on my camera, assuming it's working today. Because it's a little tiny right now. So I don't want it to be quite that tiny if possible. Alright, zoom, here we go. Hey, it's working again. 2 days of working Zoom. Woohoo! Okay, so here's the guys I'm painting. This is Adrian. Trying to get Adrian improved. Just a little bit each day. And then I got to go move on to something else. I'm only going to paint for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I'm going to try and play some, what do you call it? More FrostHaven. So we'll see how much I can get done. I'm going to try to do another scenario of FrostHaven today. I know it takes a long time, so what I'll probably do is after painting for an hour or two, I'll probably go make my smoothie drink or whatever, maybe some lunch. I don't know, it depends on how hungry I am. And then I'll set up the table. And then once I have it set up and I'm ready to start playing, I'll start the stream again. I will stop because I think a painting stream and the gaming stream need to be separate. So. All right, so let's do something here. I gotta look at them. Get a little bit more light over here just in case. All right. Now I probably should get some leather on her back straps here that are holding her banners together. I don't know what the heck is. Would that be a ribbon around her hair? I don't know. Yeah, let's go ahead and I'm kind of going off beat here. Let's see. I want to see if I can find a blue ink here. Blue ink. Transparent. Yeah, that'll work. Transparent. Which is, ink is kind of transparent. So is transparent. This is transparent blue. You could probably hear. It's real watery. It's very thin paint. It's supposed to be able to literally be transparent. Let the other color shine through. And in this case, I'm not really going for letting another color shine through the blue. I'm letting white shine through the blue. So really what I'm looking for is to just kind of give a blue hue to this falcon of hers. And then what that'll do is kind of just so she's not white. And then I'm going to, this way it makes it a little bit better background for painting designs and stuff on. I mean, I could paint with white. White's good, but the goal is to this blue, as transparent as it is pretty blue. It's not cheetah. Well, I am planning to put like a polka dot effect on her, yes. Not cheetah necessarily, but though actually this wasn't supposed to be this blue. I was hoping to let the blue just be kind of a watered down, like blue in the wings, but it didn't quite come out. So now I'm kind of stuck going in this direction. This blue transparent is not as watery as I hoped, or not as thin as I had hoped. See, it's given quite the blue, but I am going to plan to, I do need to put some designs on, and I'm going to I wanted to make it more speckled, but I may have to go over it with something to lighten it up, because this is way darker than I expected. For transparent, I expected it to be more watery, more friendly, but you can't just like partially paint a color or things kind of get weird. I mean, you can, but it's not, could have probably watered it down more. It's probably what I'm thinking would have probably been better, but I didn't know it was this bolt. So yeah, I haven't gotten around to putting any designs on her yet. Now cheetah, I wasn't going to make it orange like cheetah. I just like the idea of the speckles that you mentioned, the spots. I will. That's the plan anyway. See how it's thinner on the tail here? You can see kind of shine through. That's kind of what I was going for to begin with, but I apparently did not have the paint watered down enough. Oops. Oh well. You make do. The character itself, the Adrian, she has a summon. I mean, I don't have it yet, but it's like one of the summon cards that come with her that show the bird. And it is actually kind of a bluish bird. That's why I wanted to give it the blue hue. I didn't want to do it exactly like the picture, but I did like the idea of the blue hue. And then they have these blue, like, I don't know, I want to call them like paintings, designs, statue, or what do you call them? They look like symbols. Yeah, symbols on the wings. See, this is what I was going for. This is the kind of blue I really wanted it to be, but oh well. I might be able to lighten it up with some white or something later. As always, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, you make it. If you want something to happen, you can probably make it happen with just a little bit of creativity. Basically, I'm just painting with a wet brush right now that happens to have been dipped in blue ink. That's why it's so thin now. Question. Maybe I have an answer. What's your question? Okay, so it's not a serious question. Because let's see. Because to a hotel tells the owner he's bankrupt. Man, you get my brain all trying to get me all off point. I don't know why. Why does he tell him that? Okay. because that's his name. It's the best I can come up with, man. Just my brain ain't doing riddles at the moment. Oh, yoy, really? Tells the owner he's being pushes his car. Ah, yes. I get it. Haha. So it's a joke for people who have at some point in their life actually played Monopoly. I guess most people have even. Of course, I don't know that any of my kids, have my kids ever played Monopoly? Did I ever play with Monopoly with them? Maybe once. I don't remember. I think some of my kids have never played Monopoly, I think. Unless they played it with friends or something. All right, so let's go ahead. Now I gotta darken this up or lighten it up or something. It's too blue. I wanted it blue, but I didn't want it this blue. So now I gotta unblue it some. I wanted it to be bluish, blue-hued, but not blue, not outright, totally, completely, 100% blue. So how do I unblue it? I blew it, man. I blew it. I reached out there and tried to do this thing, and it just, boom, next thing I knew, I had all blued it up. So I need to, I'm trying, when my characters in this FrostHaven game, when I'm playing, I'm trying to have conversations every now and then. I'm having the trouble coming up with a voice for Adrian. I'm trying to, it's a chick, it's a girl, chick. Who uses chick anymore? Me, apparently. But you know, she's a female character. And I try to talk in a slightly higher voice when I talk with her, but at the same time, it doesn't feel right. It's too much like Royce. Royce is kind of I try to play Royce as kind of a high energy guy, but he's a guy. So he just talks. He's like, oh, all right, let's go do this. You know, that's like, you know, he's excited. But, you know, it's like, oh, I want to take on this. Oh, what do you think? Should we do this? You know, I try to talk a little faster with him. With Adrian, I try to talk in a higher voice, but it still sounds kind of too similar. I gotta come up. I'm not good at doing female voices, for one thing. And just doing high-pitched voices kind of like lame. Like I was trying to do the Algox female, this girl, the ice dancer. She, I tried to do her, and I was like trying to do a gruff female voice. that was rough. That was like it's like high pitched, grunt, hey, you know. It's like how do you do a high pitched grumbly voice? So I was trying to do something like this, you know, where I talk a little high, but have a little scratch in my voice, kind of thing. But it still didn't sound very female. But at least it wasn't like grumbly. It's hard. I watched YouTube videos. You know, the thing is, all these YouTube videos, and it makes sense. They say you should practice your voices. You're gonna do voices like for D&D or whatever you're doing voices for. You got to practice. So I was watching this thing yesterday with Matt Mercer and two other DMs that have DM'd games that are in his world. What is it? What's the name of his? They were talking about it. It's like Elderon or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. They DM games in his world, and that he created. And they all say the same thing. You gotta kind of practice your voices. And they were talking about how they occasionally will practice like in the bathroom and stuff. And, you know, they're just doing voices whenever. And it's like their wife or whatever would hear them doing it. But, you know, Matt Mercer's wife, she knows exactly what he's doing. You know,
she's like, oh, he's practicing his voices again, you know. I doubt she says it in a deep voice like that. But it's like, I'm still self-conscious of practicing voices. You know, it's one thing to do it when you're in the middle of a game or doing it while you're playing DM. But just to be talking in a random voice by yourself when no one's around, it's hard. I'm self-conscious of it. It's like, it's weird. It's like, I don't mind me. I'm just talking in voices, trying to teach myself how to do other voices. Because sometimes you can come up with a voice, but you got to practice it to make it stick, to make it constant, you know. And voices, so sometimes you can do something kind of soft when you talk with a female voice, but then it doesn't sound. It might have a kind of a female sound to it, but it doesn't necessarily fit when you're talking about a grumbly voice. You know, how do you do a female grumbly voice when you're a guy? You know, it's got to sound. It's going to end up sounding a little masculine because any grumbly voice is going to sound masculine. I mean, that's just the life of the way of a grumbly voice. You know, it doesn't sound grumbly if it's not somewhat masculine, but it's still, you can kind of have a feminine thing about it, right? Then it could be mannerisms. I mean, maybe you're just the way she acts. I don't know. It's hard to do. I am impressed by those guys. That's all I can say, is they impress the snot out of me. Because they always, they do these voices so good. But voice acting, like any acting or like any skill, takes practice, you know. First you got to come up with the voice, and then when you get the voice, you got to remember the voice. So practicing it, you know, it's like if you don't practice it a lot, and then you're like, okay, what was that voice I was doing? How did I do it? Sometimes you just come up with one. Like I've done this a few times where I'll be like in the car trying to come up with voices, and I'll come up with one and I'll say, oh, this works pretty good, and I'll do it for a while, 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and then when I get home and it's like, all right, what was I doing? I'm like, I can't do it no more. I lost it. It's gone. I can't find the voice. No. I've done that lots of times. It's frustrating. Oh, it was such a good voice. I was going to use it. I don't know what happened to me. So, yeah. The perils of trying to do voices. It's not your voice. It's going to be... I'm just impressed by those people who can do it. And they do it well and frequently. But it is good to know that they practice. It's not just off the top of their head. If they were just coming up with voices off the top of their head and never practiced it, I'd be like, oh, that's just wrong. It's not fair, man. It's not fair. It's not possible. Everyone, I don't know, man. I think Monopoly is one of those games that more and more is becoming played less and less, and more kids, young people, especially, young kids have never played it. I think it's very possible that it's it's starting to become one of those games that people have not played. It's like those people you meet that say, I've never watched E.T. You're like, what? What? It's because, yeah. I mean, you haven't shown your kids E.T. What the problem? What is your problem? But now, it's
it probably hasn't aged all that well, and now it's becoming less and less of a thing. But there was a point where you'd be like, somebody said they hadn't watched E.T., you'd be like, what? You are weird, man. You have been deprived all your life of standard expectations of what people should see in their lives. But now it's like, it's not that uncommon anymore. There's a lot of people who haven't seen E.T. Don't do that. You'll slip and fall. Just walk in there like a normal person. Alright. That's better. I'm getting his wings a little lightened up. Getting them down to just a bluishness. Light blue, whatever you want to call it. So this bird's got decent detail on the top. On the bottom, it's kind of flat. You can see where the detail's meant to be, but not necessarily where it is. So you can see like the basic separation lines and stuff like that. I'm trying to get this make her, okay, there she goes. It's starting to become more like I like, more of a more light blue. Now I just gotta figure out how to get those symbols on them with a little bit of speckliness. I like the speckliness idea. The question is, do I speckle it in black, or do I speckle him in blue? Do I speckle him speckle it some other way? All right. Yep. Let's do the underwing blue. I'm not doing blue. I'm just kind of washing it in blue. Get my like I did on the top. It kind of gives a blue accent to the under part of the wing too, the black parts of the wing. It's not totally black. It's kind of got a light hitting weird. There you go. That's where yes, it's hitting weird.
So on the top, you can definitely see the the detail that goes on here. But on the bottom, it's like it's flawed. It's alright, you don't see the bottom that much, and that's probably why they didn't care too much about it. Alright, so let's let that dry a bit. This is my snow falcon. Being kind of closer to being more done. But let's put some brown on the straps, because it's time for the straps to get some color. Thing is, it's the same brown as my brown is the same brown as my staff poles. I probably don't want to do that. Pick a different brown. Let's go like black brown, or something more leathery looking. More, here we go, blackened brown. That'll be perfect. It's kind of black, but it's not. It's brown, black and brown. It's brown that's been blackened. Alrighty. Yeah, look at that big bubble coming out. Pop it. Could have tried to put it down, but then I would have had this big circle in the middle of my paint palette. And I don't do big blobs of paint because, well, for one, I don't need big blobs of paint. And two, I don't have big palettes, so I got to keep my paint spots, smaller, or I'm not gonna be able to get through. Right, so Adrian, what kind of voice am I supposed to come up with for you? And I got to remember too, if I ever come up with one. Should watch Brienne. She was pretty good. She had, I mean, really, she just sounded like a woman, right? I can't mimic women voices that well. I mean, there's high pitch and then there's falsetto. Oh, you know, if we talk in this kind of voice, it always sounds so female. But it also doesn't sound very rough. How do you make a rough female voice? I don't know. You can say something that is, oh yeah. Almost sounds like a Italian. Pizza, gotta get me some pizza. Italian accent, not like an Italian person. I don't know. Why do I say pizza for Italian? I don't know. Would you rather me mention as a spaghetti? I don't know. Voices are tough, and so I kind of it's like, and then it's like there's a difference in it's like trying to merge different aspects of a voice. No, I'm not really trying to cover the entire leather because I'm going to do some trim. What? I'm gonna wash some of this brown onto the pole. I just want really watery brown here. I mean, just like basically a slop of brown, darker brown. Let's see what this does. All right, well, that's something. Just trying to let it not completely shine through. Maybe let the light shine through, the light brown. Get those things that have a little bit more bite to them. So yeah, okay, so we've kind of got her staff's kind of close to finish. She's kind of show like she's kind of close to done. Her face is still terrible, but that might be a problem of just the fact that the faces are terrible on these things. So there's that problem. I still have to put designs on the bird. I want to put designs on the bird. Gotta do some hilt stuff, but I think Adrian's gonna have to stop for a moment because I haven't done her boots yet. But I haven't done the ground at all. I should probably get some ground paint on there. This kind of, I need more drink. I'll do that when I stop. And she's got whatever this front thing is. So she's got quite a bit more to go, but it's better. I got the bird a little painted, so that's good. All right, Royce, what can I do on you? How far are you along here, my friend? Let's put some paint on his goggles. Ugh, paint on his face. The face on this guy just irritates the heck out of me. He's such a pain in the rear. Such a pain in the rear, man. Face is just terrible. Ugh. Don't have any details, so hard to find, and I'm not good at finding it. I don't mind that he's got a blue face. That's purposeful, but it's this. I mean, he has no like cheekbones. He has no lips. He has no nothing. He's just nothing. He has no nothing, which makes him very hard to paint. It's like I don't know what to do with his face. Somebody goes, hey, let me look at that. Pulls out magnifying glasses. I go, nope, you can't look at him. Nobody's allowed to look at this guy through magnifying glasses ever. It's just not. No, don't do it. His eyes are weird. Kind of fixed him a little bit, but still, it's not great. Not great at all. Alright, now let's touch up. Let's see about doing some actual painting. What can I paint on him? It's just... let's do brown. So yeah, I haven't gotten, I mean, obviously, when I say I'm only going to put in a little paint, the goal is a little bit of paint between every session. And this is actually the second time I put a little paint on these guys since the last session, because I did a little bit on Wednesday. So these guys are getting more than this session's fair share, which is bad because I have other things to be painting. But it's all about just making progress on something, right? Too many minis to paint, and not enough time between reasons to use them. I know I'm not chit-chatting. I get into these zones sometimes, but I will follow if somebody says something. I promise I will look, and I will try to respond. I do that even when I'm doing stuff where I'm not in heavy in heavy concentration like this, where I'm trying to get this guy painted up. But like when I'm playing the game FrostHaven, I sometimes, I'm in the middle of a battle point, and I don't look up to check my text sometimes because I'm trying to solve for the problems before me. And trust me, the game has plenty of challenges that it throws at you. So I'm thinking Royce has it's kind of a thiefy character, and so he's wearing like leathers underneath his minimal amount of bronze plating that he uses to cover up his leather. It's not like plate. It's I don't know, what do you want to call it? Plating? It's not bronze plate, but it's kind of like a plate. It's like, same thing? No, totally different. Totally not the same thing. Creativity. It's not my color scheming. That's a skill for the artistic. Not me. But hey, pants are starting to look a little colored at least. And things are starting to come up. Royce is about ready to go on his next adventure. Maybe they'll be better. Get a little paint on them. They feel good. They're feeling confident. And they're like, hey, let's go out and kick some monster butt. Now, the reason his base has blue and green and all these other odd colors is I was picturing it like a Heroscape. That Wizards of the Coast game. Heroscape. Alright. Somebody else needs paint. I need to get some demon painting. Demons painted. I think it's Abishai. There he is. This is, I believe he's a white Abishai. And he's going to start getting some paint now. He's kind of pre-primed, so I can actually just start slopping paint on him. I'm going to paint him mostly white as a base, which is going to be fun. Which means I got to paint him mostly brown first. Because white paint is weird. It doesn't do well up against black. Black is kind of brutal. But you give it like a high pigment light brown color, like a plague brown or something like that, and typically the white will shine through better. It'll be more, it'll take better. Now plague brown is pretty good. I'm trying to find my plague brown, but there's also there's other colors that are similar. Plague brown, dead flesh actually comes out pretty close. Probably use like a skin tone color too, like that. Your goal is to get like I have Alf skin tone here, If I can't find my playground at the moment. Oh, there it is. Oh, there's dead flesh. Which, see, that one's probably a little less yellow than the elf skin tone. But ultimately, yeah, it's about... Dead flesh is... I don't know. If I can find plague brown, I'll show you the differences. I mean, again, you have to be... I've just used plague brown in the past. Works pretty good, but I can't find it, so maybe I won't use it right now. Always gotta keep taking these off because it drives me bonkers trying to look around the magnifying glass. Could be up here. Browns are supposed to be up here, but nope. Green ochre, green, Japanese uniform. But again, I don't think it's really all that important. You are going to cover it up, and it will mostly come out white. But you don't want something too dark, because then the white has to compete with the darkness of that color. By picking a color that is already kind of got a whitish hue to it, you're making your step a little friendlier. But when you go back to white, I don't know where plague brown went. So, did it end up in the wrong container? In the wrong space? Oh, there it is. It is in the wrong space. So I was putting a lot of my paints into my paint deck, it's called. It's like an app to let you scan your paint so you know what you have. So this is plague brown. So you can see it's pretty dark. I think I might try dead flesh. Dead flesh might be a little bit more friendlier. But both of them work pretty good. For some reason, white will cover brown pretty well if it's a decent white. But it just doesn't cover black very well. The black just wants to shine through and it almost gives you a grayish look. So I'm going to try a dead flesh. Now, dead flesh, unless you're painting dead, is kind of ugly. Gonna say. So when I do this, he's not going to look great, but at least he'll be on his way. I could actually even mix it with white, but if I want it to be lighter. But I'm gonna try to get a quick coat. I need to use my. He's kind of a bigger fig. I mean, he's got a lot of area. And I'm going to have to get a lot of, I have to use my yucky brush. And this guy is fragile. He's like paper thin. His wings are paper thin. His sword is paper thin. So a lot about him, paper thin. So it's going to be fun trying to paint this guy. I want my brush pretty wet because this paint is pretty, oops, got to put my glasses on. So I can see him close up. Get my light on him. When you paint guys like this, they don't have much color. So yeah, this is really just going to be me slopping down to paint for the first part here. Now he's going to be white as the base, okay? But ultimately there will be other color in him. I have to work that part out, but I'm going to try to make him base white. And I'm pretty sure this is the white Abishai. I have a blue Abishai, but the blue Abishai I think is not flying. I don't know why they're called Abishai either. It's their face. And how would you identify if you looked at it and go, oh, it's a white Abishai? Well, you know color would be the definition of white, but how do you suddenly know if it's an Abishai at all? What's the identifying trait? Some people know they're monsters, I'm sure. Take a look at it and go, oh yeah. Now, see, this company was really responsive to getting me samples back, but sadly, it's not, these minis aren't, this company was, the detail is awesome, but You can see, look, he's got 2 broken fingers. It was broken like that when I got it. I couldn't tell you. I did a review on this one when I opened them. I do box reviews when I get minis from Etsy, different companies. And this one, when I got it, the minis were a couple of broken ones, and there was one that was really weird. It had like the wrong arm. Like, he printed the arm separate, and it was like the wrong scale. And I told him, I go, this arm don't look right. He's like, oh yeah, let me send you another one. So he sent me another one, and it was correct. And I could even show it to you if you want to see it. But yeah, it's like the arm was gargantuan compared to him, because I asked him to do him a 28mm scale, and by default I think they do things at 32, and I think he sent me a 32mm scale arm and a 28mm scale character. He forgot to rescale the arm when he did it. Kind of silly. It's like, yeah, I glued it on. It's like, well, I don't know what to do with this arm. I'll just glue it on anyway. He'll just look like a demon with some funkiness. It's alright. Sometimes demons do look funky, right? That's their thing. They're demons. Things aren't quite right with them. Demons have their problems. Kind of look like a dragon of sorts, don't they? So is that what he is? A demonic dragon? I tell you, man, every time I bump these wings, I'm like, they feel like paper. I mean, they do. They feel like they're just stiff paper. It's like, oh, I'm gonna break it. I could just sense it. It's gonna break. And I've already broken once. His tail was broken, and that wasn't great. I had to re-glue him. You think it was hard gluing him onto the base when his tail wasn't broken. Getting him glued on when a broken tail. Ugh. I had to line him up with the tail and get him to stay on. Not fun, man. Not fun at all. I'm not painting his wings just yet, because I don't know what I'm going to do with them, what color. I don't know if I'm planning to make them white like him. Maybe make them black, or maybe make them something else. I don't know. I know what the problem is. It's hard to hold just a base. There's a lot more stability here. Watch me drop it anyway. The problem is, if I drop it with this, there's a lot more pressure on it, because this is a lot heavier. This thing could actually break it. I gotta try not to drop. I mean, it's the goal anyway, right? Don't drop your pieces. This one's got all his fingers, at least, on this hand. Of course, they are folded, wrapped around a sword, so yeah, I mean, not that hard to get the fingers to stay. And he's got all these horns, and I don't know if those need to be painted, but I am, because even if I go towards a horn colored, which is probably either similar to what this color is, or bone, if I want to go with a bone color, or if I want to make them their own color, something different, something fleshy. But hey, at least there's a chance this guy gets to be seen with a little bit of paint on him. Now, there's multiple Abishais. There's white Abishais, there's blue Abishais, and they're all in this game. So I've got to figure out how to get them painted before. I got to read ahead just to figure out what monsters are in this campaign coming up, or in the coming up areas of the campaign. Again, if anybody comes to see this later, this is a base coat. This is not even a base coat. This is a base coat. This is a underlayment of a base coat. Just, its purpose is just to be so my white has a chance to be white. So I'm putting this on to give the white something that's a little more friendly to adhere to. See, this color actually does kind of adhere pretty nice, so it doesn't have too much trouble. Plus, it's more friendly if you happen to miss doing the white on. This won't show this won't show your mistake as obviously as black will. Black will be like, "Hello, I'm here." It's like, you missed me, big black spot. Remember? White, it'll be a little more friendly. Or this will be a little more friendly. It's not white, but it'll just allow it to maybe not stand out as much. Well, granted, you're hoping you don't miss anything, but hey, stuff happens, man. You miss stuff. You miss it every now and then. You just gotta go with it. So what else can you do? Just gotta go with the flow. And hopefully, can fix it later. Fix the flow. Uncovered, uncovered. So I'm going to, when I sign off, to go do something, to go set up for the FrostHaven campaign. We'll see if anybody comes by to say hi there. I'm planning to do scenario something. Scenario something. Yep, that's it. I figured it out. No, yeah, I don't know. I think it's scenario 17, 18, something like that. No, it's not. It's only like the 6th scenario for me. It's not really the 18th scenario, but a lot of them branch off. They go to one place or the other. So, you know, one stream will go through lower numbers and one stream will go through higher numbers because there's only so many numbers. So his entire character is held up by his tail, as you can see. So that tiny little spot in the tail is all it is holding this guy up. And the guy's light, so he's not putting a ton of pressure on his tail. He's not like he's bending it or anything. Plus it's resin. But he is... it's just a fragile point of pressure. Alrighty. Got a base coat for his white. Should work enough to get me started when I start putting white on it next. It wasn't meant to be a highly detailed coat, but just enough to make the white friendlier to put on. And yeah, I'll probably have to be careful, so I'll probably have to use a better brush. This is my slop it on brush. But he's definitely high on the priorities list for at least getting one of these dang Abishai painted. I got so many guys to paint, and as they get further and further along, the guys get tougher and more complex to paint, as well as tougher and more complex to fight against. And they're whooping everything. There are only 4 of them, and I think this campaign's supposed to be able to play up to 6, and it doesn't really scale for you. And I'm like, well, they've got a couple of people. Well, granted, they got 7 people with them. But still, the game should know at least 6 of those people should be there. In fact, it could be up to 8, technically. I mean, the game has, let's say it's set up for 6 people, and they have the 2 of the standard people with them. That's 8 people. This encounter they did last time had like 3 characters on it, or 4, and they wrecked them. They barely got hit. So yeah, it's not a... And then they're constantly hiding behind things at 100 feet away, and yeah, they're taking pot shots at them. I mean, yeah, that's a good way to do it, but at the same time, it makes it very difficult for these encounters to be challenging. So it's like, I got to make it so that these characters have, I don't know, throw in some fast-moving, flying, or just set up some battle so it's a little bit more overwhelming. Problem is, what happens is when you do that, half the group hides. So there's 4 of them, 3 of them are hiding far away, and 1 who can't really hide easily, and that's not his thing, runs up to the front. So what happens is the guy in front gets killed, gets knocked out, because his team is basically abandoning him to hide. So he goes up there, he might get a couple shots off, but since they can't go after the hiding ones, or they can, but it's a long ways. Why wouldn't you just kill the guy in front of you? So they all gang up on him, take him out. Then they go after the other ones, but they don't seem to mind that they're leaving their front friends hanging out to dry. So even though some of them could fight up front, they just choose not to. So they just basically desert their friend. So what time is it? Is it going on 3 o'clock already? Oh, it's 2 o'clock. So it's 2:03. Okay. Well, how long have I been streaming? An hour and 20 minutes. I think that's good. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stop for now because I need to start setting up for this other thing, and I don't want to be going all night. I know these take a long time. So getting ready to move over and do my FrostHaven scenario for the week. Can I get through one? Can I get through a scenario without dying? We're about to find out. Okay, so see you in a bit. Probably 25 to 30 minutes. I need to figure out a way to do a countdown timer on my stream. But yeah, so I'll be switching over, and then I got to set it up. I don't know if you can see it behind me. Probably not. But you can see I got the FrostHaven box already out. Got the table up back there. And that's what I'm going to be doing, getting ready. So see you soon.